Yes, 57 ideas in no particular order. Let's begin. Create better audio examples for plugin companies. They can pay you because these audio examples will help them sell their products. Plugin developers aren't usually the best songwriters, and they aren't usually up to date on the latest trendy subgenres either. If you speak multiple languages, translate tutorials and help documentation. Knowledge of the technical music production words and the context surrounding them is critical to proper translation. Plus, you get to learn lots as you do it. If you hear a podcast with audio processing mistakes, maybe clipping intro music, lots of plosives, or maybe it's a bit too quiet, charge them a few $100s to show them how to fix it. I suggest sending them a corrected audio file in advance to prove 1, that it's a problem that needs solving, and 2, you know how to do it. Royalties from track sales and streams on platforms like Spotify. Looking at one of the releases on my label, you can see that 3 million streams equals about £2,000, which is about $2,000 after the distributor takes their cut. Become an influential music curator on something like Spotify and charge people to be featured in your playlist. Actually, don't do this. I've just found out it violates Spotify's terms and conditions, although it definitely happens. The trick here, though, is to create hundreds of playlists to determine the best title and artwork combination. Then regularly change the songs in the playlist to keep the algorithm happy. If you have a microphone and an acoustically treated room and you know how to record and post-process vocals, consider voiceover work. Websites like Fiverr or Upwork would be a good place to start. In fact, websites like Fiverr have whole categories specifically for music production. This guy will write captivating pirate music for you. I should hire him. Become great at digging up public domain audio and packaging it into marketable products. If I'm familiar with the term public domain, this means there is no copyright, and so you can do anything you like with it, including sell it. Make music for platforms like Premium Beat. These are platforms that license royalty-free music to filmmakers and YouTubers. Others include Epidemic Sound, Artlist, Musicvine, Soundstripe, Filmstro, Pond5, and Bensound. Mastering. This ends up being more of an exercise in marketing, rightly or wrongly. Affiliate income. If someone buys something using your link, you receive a percentage of the sale. Amazon has an affiliate scheme, as do marketplaces selling digital things, like Loopmasters and Splice. If you let YouTube place ads on your videos, they pay you each time someone watches one. However, this pays about 10 to 100 times less than if you arrange something yourself. So naturally, that's what I did. Today's video is sponsored by Lalali. Lalali uses AI to separate audio into stems. Choose a separation type, choose your audio file, wait a few moments, and download the separated audio files. In this case, one file with just the vocal and the other with the vocal removed.
Everybody flash your lights, come on and let me see ya.
Leverage your knowledge of royalty-free sample pack platforms and labels to find music for successful YouTubers and filmmakers outside of music. These people rarely know about the sample pack world. Maybe you could even do basic looping, arranging, mixing, and mastering for them too. Write better user manuals for plugins and sell them to the developers. Lots of companies have truly awful written documentation. Create content for an established audio company, i.e. create something that can be used to promote that company's products. A good way to make money is to help someone else make money. Sell gear you don't need anymore. Easy money. Find sample pack or tutorial work for successful artists and take a percentage of the fee. You could even do the work for them. An artist could send you an unorganized hard drive full of samples and unfinished songs, which you could then curate and organize to create a pack to sell to Loopmasters or Splice. Or maybe you could edit the raw video footage they record for a tutorial course. This is what Wyatt from our In the Door series did for AU5, turning it into the successful business, Door Nation. Create tutorials in one medium, maybe podcast or video, from a reference source in another medium. For example, Ableton's help documentation covers pretty much everything and is extremely well written. It would be pretty easy to paraphrase it in audio or video form. Not that I would ever do that. Send long lists of everything you're struggling with, everything you don't understand, to tutorial course companies. Create this list organically as you're producing. For example, if you're not sure what sub-bass notes to choose to match a chord progression, add this to your list. When this list reaches 100, see if you can get a few $100s for it. This information is valuable to the tutorial course companies, so they'll pay you for it. If you're using a plugin and something doesn't quite work properly, or there's something you don't understand, again, write it down. Similarly to the previous example, see if you can sell this information to the plugin developer for a few $100s. Again, it's no extra work for you, just write these pain points down as you encounter them. Grants. Free money from the government. I'm pretty sure this is a thing. I'm not sure how you get it, how much money there is, or how much paperwork's involved, but it's probably worth spending an afternoon one day to see if your country gives out grants to those in the arts. We're in the arts. There's some art on the wall that makes this room art. It's the arts now. This is arts happening right now. This is an arts experience. Video editing tutorial courses. Tightly editing a 3-hour-long course is a giant pain. So many platforms and creators hire video editors to do the bulk of the work. As a bonus, you get to learn lots. Excellent. Consult for audio companies to help them modernize their marketing information. Often you'll see them using outdated terms like EDM or hands in the air moments. The people running these companies can be surprisingly out of the loop and behind the times. Naturally though, as you're usually an older person by the time you built a successful company. Copyright every possible melody and sue everyone for copyright infringement. These guys did. Kind of. They did it as a bit of a stunt to demonstrate one of the many fundamental flaws in copyright law. Super interesting stuff. Become an influencer like me and get paid to show products to your audience. Speaking of which, today's video is sponsored by Loopmasters. The payment isn't for a positive review, so I'm allowed to make a correction like this. The separation works very well, but the separation isn't 100% perfect quality. Saying that, I literally spent 3 full days testing this against Isotope RX, RipX Deep Audio, and Splitter.ai's 2-stem Pro model. And Loopmasters was definitely the best. Others have tested it against other stem separation options and similarly found Loopmasters to be the best overall. Specifically, it made less mistakes and the separated vocal stems sound more natural compared to the competition.
Everybody flash your lights, come on and let me see ya. Moving to the rhythm, moving to the rhythm. Everybody flash your.
My rule is always present the sponsor in a positive light, but only recommend the product if I genuinely think it's the best. I rarely say a sponsor is best in category, but here I'm pretty confident it is. You can try it for free a few times if you don't believe me, so give it a go. Create better audio examples for sample pack companies. Sound designers aren't usually the best songwriters, and the demo track's often a last-minute afterthought. If you're awesome at writing songs but don't have much of an audience or marketing machine behind you, try ghost producing. Send a few completed tracks to the management of some big artists. Email management because 1, the email's easy to find, and 2, unlike the artist, management will actually read your email. Sometimes, instead of payment, the artist will release the track as a collab with you. They might make some minor tweaks, they might not. In this collab arrangement, they get a great song and you get to leverage their audience. There's an equal exchange of value. If you know the best insert genre you like, tracks in the world approach video game companies to help them curate their playlists. The video game industry is by far the biggest entertainment industry and therefore have plenty of money for this kind of stuff. It's useful to them to know what the best songs in a certain genre are, and so they'll pay for it. You could even explore the idea of sound designing for video games. It's just like making a sample pack, except you're making a sample pack for a specific video game theme. OnlyFans? Ghost produce tracks for celebrity DJs, i.e. people with a famous name but who aren't music producers. Don't limit yourself to pitching to celebrities who already DJ. Maybe your pitch sparks the idea in a manager's head to get their celeb DJing. They're probably already doing appearances at clubs and getting paid for it, so it's not a big step from there to DJing. Create custom music for vloggers and YouTubers. They don't want to use the same royalty-free music as everyone else. Approach only the biggest channels as only they will have enough money to pay you well. Create the demo tracks, ideas and examples for tutorial course creators. Often those with the best knowledge in music production and those who know how to make videos and explain things well aren't the best songwriters. Yep, that includes me. If you have a hard drive full of samples you've made or track work in progresses, but don't fancy turning it into a sample pack yourself, see if any sound designers or sample pack labels will buy it off you for a few $100s. It's their job to turn this sort of stuff into marketable products. You could help popular YouTube and SoundCloud channels find, curate, and manage the music they post. It's a job that needs doing, and the big channels have money to pay you. Audio repair, declipping, denoising, declicking, and so on. For filmmakers or podcasters, it's a job that needs doing, and chances are you have better ears than them. Mixing. Many people don't like the technical process of mixing a song they've written. In fact, many of the best artists in the world don't like it, or maybe are better at songwriting and so pay someone else to do the mixing. Look at the credits on popular releases, for example. There's a lot of people involved here. I made $500 one afternoon by generating a sample pack. I took a collection of sounds I'd made previously. I duplicated the audio track 20 or so times, on each track applying a different audio effect. Obviously, pick an effect that completely transforms the sound. Bounce it all to audio and pick the best sounds from the stuff you've generated. This is called a generative workflow. And as an interesting way to generate audio, you could use today's sponsor, La. The drums and newly launched synthesizer separation types work well for this. Go on tour with a successful artist to film or vlog their life. An artist called Sav from Sazumbuya and then Fight Club got his big break this way by offering to travel around filming Skrillex on tour. Buy vintage analog gear as an appreciating asset, i.e. buy it now, hoping you can sell it for more in the future. It's not my area of expertise, but I'm pretty sure it's possible. Alternatively, create a market of derivative financial contracts to profit from the price of vintage analog gear going down. Again, not my area of expertise. DJing and performing live. If performing as an artist is the goal, a promoter will book you if having your name on the lineup means someone will buy a ticket. So this should be your focus. Also, it's better to have 4,000 fans in one city than 40,000 fans spread around the world. If your name is selling tickets, you can pretty much live off one set a week if you live quite cheaply. If you're on the cutting edge of underground and trendy genres, consult with big multinational companies and the marketing or media houses they use to educate them on what sounds good. This is information they need and will be willing to pay for. Remember watching an advert and wondering why they've chosen such an awful insert genre you like background song? It happens all the time and it really shouldn't. It's important for them that their song resonates with the audience. Send 500 good emails and you should get some clients. Imagine charging them maybe once every 6 months for an update on what sounds good in the genre you know about. Convince Netflix or Amazon to pay you to make a TV show about music stuff. They have lots of money and teams of people looking to fund new shows. Sample packs and tutorial courses. These have historically been the biggest two income streams for me. If the market feels saturated, that just means you need to produce higher quality work to stand out. Find out what you're better than everyone else at and do that. One-to-one teaching and coaching using something like Skype or Zoom. You only really need to know a little bit more than the person you're teaching. You could always get a normal job working for, say, a big corporate like Ableton. In some sense, it's lower risk than the self-employed digital creator life. If I spend a week working on something and it doesn't work, I don't get paid. I'll say it again. If I spend a week working on something and it doesn't work, I don't get paid. Start a business customizing audio gear. For example, imagine an Ableton Push 2, but in a different and more unique enclosure. A successful artist has plenty of money to pay for this kind of stuff. Be a middleman like a PR company or a social media marketing agency. At least from the dozens or so I've interacted with over the years, most get paid for doing very little work. I say this because most didn't spend more than about half a second looking at my channel before trying to send me something or paying for a sponsored video. That's how this monstrosity of a gearwall happened in the previous studio. Essentially, they charge a fee for spending someone's marketing budget. Patreon, it's kind of like receiving donations, but also kind of just selling stuff, with some added warm and fuzzies since the patron is supporting a creative and artistic endeavour. I shouldn't be cynical. The community's good and it's a significant income stream for some. Organise an event in your city as a meet and greet workshop type thing for successful artists. Great day for everyone involved, plus you get to meet some great people. Work in retail, selling music-y stuff. Whilst I didn't do this directly. I did work briefly in the Apple Store, part-time for a few years before my music career really started taking off. And I enjoyed it much more than you might expect. I was surrounded by tech I loved and great people. Friends, in fact. Now I'm friends with a microphone. Hello, friend. Join a venture-backed startup. I hear from friends that work in venture capital that there's a lot of money in the system, and that means lots of music startups get funded, and that means lots of music roles that need filling. And there are whole websites dedicated to this. If you know the business side of a bit of the music industry inside and out, venture capitalists will pay you lots to do due diligence on investments they're considering in the space. They can't know everything, and so pay experts like you to verify all the market-specific details. Job websites, those big aggregated platform type places. I'm sure there are some music industry jobs floating around on there. I think in the UK it's websites like Indeed, maybe Monster in America. Sell NFTs of all the imaginary things you can think of. Why sell an actual product or service to your fans or ask for donations if instead you could convince them that a fancy URL equals ownership in some useful sense? Yeah. Learn how to create an AI algorithm that generates millions of excellent songs, upload them all to Spotify, and hope a handful of them get picked up by the algorithm, resulting in royalty income. Once again, this video was sponsored by La. Links to everything will be in the description below. Catch you on the flippity flip.